Hey, what's up, IOers? I'm your host, Mackenzie Smith, and since you guys liked our top 10 brands that were destroyed by social media so much, I wanted to come back with a part 2 because I swear so many brands have been cancelled. I could probably make 10 parts to this series. But also for some reason, these were incredibly hard to find. Like, I think after cancellations, brands do their best to maybe bury these kinds of stories or something, because most of these took me ages to find. Even though I'm sure most of you are going to remember a lot of these. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Next at number 9, Miele. The appliance company got in some hot water when for International Women's Day, they released an ad that many thought was very sexist. In the ad, German appliances manufacturer Miele shared a photo on Facebook that showed 4 women happily standing around a washer and dryer. And many people thought this ad reinforced old stereotypes that appliances and housework are for women. After the company got a ton of backlash, they were forced to take down the ad only a few hours later. Next up at number 8, United Airlines. So this was another massive scandal that I completely forgot about until I started researching for this video. This cancellation has to do with that terrible video that surfaced a few years back of a United Airlines passenger being forcibly removed from his seat on an overbooked United Airlines flight. After this started going viral, the video sparked outrage against the company all across the country. And then United's handling of the incident only made matters worse, as many people thought the CEO's apology was half-assed and dismissive. Then after this, the financial hardships began for the company, with their stock dropping 4% in the days following the incident, wiping as much as $1 billion off the company's market value. After this, the company tried to make up for the scandal by doing more to deal with overbooked flights and increase customer service training. But it didn't help much, with the company still being rated one of the worst in terms of customer service out of all airlines. Next up at number 7, Snapchat. Snapchat got cancelled online after they released an ad for a game on the platform that would have been called Would You Rather, where I guess users would just pick what they would rather do to kill time on the app. But the ad got serious backlash, as the ad asked users whether they would want to slap Rihanna or punch Chris Brown, referencing the incident from 2009 that I think we all know. Rihanna even called out Snapchat on her Instagram stories, saying, "I know you already know you ain't my favorite app out there, but I'm just trying to figure out what the point was with this mess. I'd love to call it ignorance, but I know you ain't that dumb." And I can't really blame her for the outrage here, as it's pretty clear they wanted to reference the abuse incident, but didn't think they'd get any backlash. And after this, the company took a huge hit, losing $800 million in market value as a result of the scandal. So yeah, don't mess with Rihanna. Next up at number 6, the Weinstein Company. This is one that I'm sure you've all heard of, but this company has taken a major hit now that their founder has officially been sentenced to serve time for sexual abuse against women. Harvey used to be one of the most respected people in all of Hollywood, until it was revealed that he had been taking advantage of women for decades, forcing them to do certain things to get roles in his movies. And since the company is named after him, it's taken a massive hit in regards to its brand rep. The company officially removed Harvey from its board in the beginning when there were allegations, but even though he isn't working for the company anymore, I don't think the brand will ever be seen the same way in Hollywood again. Halfway through at number 5, Equinox and SoulCycle. Fitness establishments Equinox and SoulCycle were cancelled on social media after it was discovered that a major investor in the company was a Trump supporter, with huge celebrities like Chrissy Teigen even supporting the effort. The investor, Stephen Ross, was said to have been hosting a fundraiser for President Donald Trump's re-election campaign, and the fundraiser was going to be at his Hamptons mansion, with Trump there and taking photographs of people who donated between $5,600 and $250,000 to secure a spot at the event. And after this, people who had memberships at either establishments that were not Trump fans were outraged at the fact that their memberships could be supporting him. So after this, the company was forced to make a statement where they said in part, quote, "As is consistent with our policies, no company profits were used to fund politicians. We are committed to all our members and the communities we live in. We believe in tolerance and equality and will always stay true to those values." Continuing, Mr. Ross is a passive investor and is not involved in the management of either business. So after this, it's not sure how hard the company was hit, but I'm sure avid Democrats were not happy and most likely canceled their memberships after all that. Next up at number 4, Dove. So Dove is generally known for having a great brand rep, with people praising them for their modern ads. But with any company, with one ad they really missed the mark. In the ad in question, a black woman is wearing a brown t-shirt and then takes off her shirt to reveal a white woman in a white tee. People quickly accuse the ad of being racially charged, and of course, tons of complaints started to spill out onto social media. After this, the company made a statement apologizing and removed the ad. And although this didn't affect direct sales too much, their brand rep was slightly tarnished. In at number 3, Sportsnet. So for those of you who are Canadian, you'll definitely know this one. Basically, retired NHL coach and longtime face of Hockey Night in Canada, Don Cherry was fired by Sportsnet over comments made during Saturday night's broadcast about poppies and immigrants, after many people found it to be discriminatory. But since Cherry is such a beloved figure in Canadian hockey, some people were outraged over the firing, with many people cancelling their Sportsnet subscription after the announcement in support of Cherry. And with the hashtag boycott Sportsnet and even hashtag boycott Rogers, who owns the company, trending on Twitter afterwards. But of course, a great number of people were happy that he was fired as well. So I think with this one, the amount of people that cancelled Sportsnet versus praised them was probably pretty even. And if you're Canadian, I would really love to know your thoughts on all this because I remember it being incredibly polarizing at the time. Next up at number 2, Buzzfeed. Buzzfeed is a new media company that people love to hate, with people constantly criticizing them online. A lot of the main complaints are that the company is very lazy with their content, and it's about stuff that no one really cares about. As well, they are called out for bad journalism, extreme bias towards the left, and even being anti-men and anti-straight people in a lot of their videos. And people also don't like the company for how they treat their stars, with the company being well known for getting torn apart in the hundreds of "why I left BuzzFeed" videos that are on YouTube, of former employees that have now left. People even hate the company so much there are petitions begging someone to close them down for being sexist and racist. And since there's constantly news that the company might get shut down because of lack of profits, this could be one reason why. And finally at number 1, Urban Outfitters. So Urban Outfitters is a brand that's been involved in so much drama, I could honestly make a whole video on all their scandals. But in 2003, the company faced massive backlash after they released a board game called Ghettopoly. And yes, that's the actual name some executive thought was a good choice. The game featured things like Cheap Trick Avenue and Smitty's XXX Peep Show and Hustle bonus cards like "You got your whole neighborhood addicted to crack, collect $50. And of course, anyone and everyone was calling the company out for being totally racist, with people saying it was clear the creator had racist motives while making the game. But the creator, David Chang, disregarded this, saying, quote, "It draws on stereotypes not as a means to degrade, but as a medium to bring together in laughter," Chang said. "If we can't laugh at ourselves, we'll continue to live in blame and bitterness." But yeah, I definitely think there's better ways we can all laugh at ourselves other than doing crazy stuff like this. So guys, that's all for the list. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments. What do you think was the most deserved or undeserved cancellation on this list? And were there any that I missed? Because I know companies get canceled like this all the time, but it was so freaking hard to find these stories once we all forgot about them. But before I go, I did want to shout out a few of the comments from part 1 of this series. Zanilla Vanilla said, "They opened a Chick-fil-A in the UK. It had its 6-month lease revoked within a few weeks because of the backlash." Wow, that's insane. I don't think I've ever heard of one actually being closed down after all the backlash. Thanks so much for including that. Then Jasmine Letner said, "What about Urban Outfitters? Look up their scandal." Okay, thank you so much for this comment. This comment is actually what got me to look up that number 1 that I ended up including, so thanks so much. Then Giordano Leal said, "I enjoyed watching this. Would enjoy even more if a part 2 came out." Well, you got your wish, here's that part 2. Okay guys, well that's all for this video. Like and subscribe down below if you liked and want to see more videos like this. Also follow us on our socials if you want to see what we're up to. Mine's down below. Thanks so much for watching guys, and I'll see you in my next one.